Welcome to the Brandon Lakey Show. Welcome to the Brandon Lakey Show. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Brandon Lakey Show. Compounding Communities brought to you by WealthWave, the How Money Works Company, and Revolt Healthcare. Listen, I'm excited for today. I'm excited because we've got a couple of amazing guests. So before we get into that, I want to introduce myself. If this is your first time tuning into our show, I want to welcome you. My name is Brandon Lakey. I'm a senior broker with WealthWave, the How Money Works Company. I'm all about teaching people how to win the money game, all the things that you wish someone would have taught you when you were 19 years old, all about money, financial education, everything like that. I want to jump into a quick giveaway. If you're a first-time listener, this is exciting because we've got a giveaway that's directly related to my business, which is teaching people how to win the money game, as I mentioned. So we're doing a giveaway right now. If you reach out to me, my information will be scrolling along the bottom of the screen here throughout the show. If you reach out to me over Facebook, over text message, however you get a hold of me, and you schedule a 20 to 30 minute educational consultation where I teach you a couple of concepts about money and teach you things that I guarantee you will add value to your life. Not a sales pitch, not trying to get you to buy anything, just a way for me to meet people, meet more people in our community, as well as extend our mission of teaching people financial literacy. If you schedule that with me, that will qualify you for an entry into the contest. So if you want to run that, Mr. Producer, there you go. So it's 2 round trip tickets, airfare, and 2 nights in hotel accommodations to a whole host of different destinations. Now, this is not one of those things where it's like you got to go sit in a 3-hour presentation and they put you in a headlock to spend 40 grand on a timeshare. It's not one of those things. It's literally just a giveaway to thank you as a listener and to thank you for taking a look at some of our financial education stuff that we do. So don't be afraid. I promise. Listen, not going to put you in a headlock, not going to try to, make you break out the checkbook or anything like that. It's purely an educational conversation. The odds are still good. We've got a handful of entries, but listen, someone's going to win that trip. And that's a pretty cool deal, especially be able to take your wife, be able to take your sweetheart, take your husband on a trip, and learn a little bit about financial education in a friendly, laid-back environment. That's what I'm about, and that's what I do. So in terms of our segments for today, we've got Julie Altemus with Super Home Warranty. She's going to tell you guys about all things home warranty. So listen, if you just moved to the area, if you just bought a new home, or if you are buying, the market's hot right now. If you're buying a house, a previously loved house, and you're wondering about warranty, or maybe you just own a home and you're thinking about, okay, listen, what's going to happen financially to us if we have one of these big ticket items bite the dust? Is that something we're prepared for? A warranty can sure save the day. And so we're going to talk with Julie. Then we're going to talk with Sharon Mayer. Sharon is the Allen Chamber of Commerce, the head person, the CEO. She's the one that you want to know if you live in Allen. If you're thinking about starting a company, if you own a small business, medium business, even large company, Sharon's going to share with us some secrets to entrepreneurship, some secrets to ownership. She's very experienced, and so I'm excited for that. She's gonna drop some nuggets on you. So if you're a small to medium, even a large business owner, you might want to take out a pen and paper because I'm sure she'll drop some nuggets. And then listen, if you're a fan of the outdoors, if you're a fan of the Texas A&M Aggies, if you're a fan of firearms, new innovative hunting products, I've got a treat for you, Mr. Luke Leissner. Luke is a longtime Aggie, an outdoors aficionado. Luke is going to talk about a couple of topics that I know you're going to find interest in. So listen, Luke's going to be coming in the back end, so hang on with us. If you're listening, You can also go and replay this later on different social media platforms, but that's one that you're not going to want to miss. So this next segment we're going to talk about is my segment called Compounding Communities. It's brought to you by WealthWave, the How Money Works company. And we're going to talk about why start early. Now, this is something that you guys know. You know already that you need to start saving early. But I'm going to tell you the story of Jack and Jill. And Jack and Jill started saving at very different times. They had different opinions. Listen, there's a lot of opinions out there. There's a lot of old school advice that tells you you've got to pay off everything debt-wise early and first. But what I want to submit to you is that you should check the math on everything you're doing, because certainly high interest, credit card debt, stuff like that. Yeah, you want to get that stuff knocked out. But there are certain situations. Now, granted, this may be a little controversial, right? This may set your hair on fire a little bit, but there's certain situations where it might make sense to look at something very, very low interest. For example, let's say someone has a 0% loan on a vehicle. Well, you could pay that loan off early, and that would certainly feel very good. But mathematically, if you took the money that you were going to pay on that 0 interest auto loan, and instead you put that money into some type of growth vehicle utilizing compound interest, what does the math say? And that's one thing you'll learn about me. I like to remove opinion. There's a lot of methodology in the financial industry, almost like different religions. And listen, every religion thinks that they've got the right answer, and that their path, their plan, the bylaws, the things that they hold true, every religion thinks that they have got the right one. And so it's very similar in the financial industry. Listen, me personally, my style is let's remove all of that. Let's see what the math says, because math is the great equalizer, right? It's we say all the time, it's math, not magic. So listen, the story of Jack and Jill, and this whole concept, what I'm talking about today of starting early, if you play the math out to say, if I rather than paying off something very, very low interest or even 0 interest and got that money growing in a compounding interest type vehicle, what would that look like? Well, the story of Jack and Jill goes like this. You've got Jack, and Jack's going to contribute $200 a month from age 25. So he starts relatively early, right out of college, or just getting into his adult working career. He starts at age 25, but he only contributes to age 35. Now, he's going to only contribute $24,000 over 10 years. You also have Jill. Jill says, you know what? I'm going to pay off all of my debts first. I'm not going to worry about saving or investing or anything like that, compounding interest. I'm gonna just kind of ignore some of the math, and I'm going to make it just a crazy priority just to pay off every single debt, even my ultra low interest debt. Now, I'm not going to try to take away from you the feel good feeling of paying that off. Okay, we're going to set that in a box and set that to the side. What I'm going to talk about is the math, because Jill decides to invest and save $200 a month between ages 35 and 65. So she's going to save for 30 years. Now, Jack, remember, Jack only saved for 10 years. He saved $24,000 total. And at age 65, he had about $300,000 in that particular account. Pretty good. Jill starts with same amount, $200 a month, but 10 years later, and saves for that full 30 years. She's going to contribute 3 times as much as Jack. She's going to save $72,000 in comparison to Jack's $24,000. And at the end, she will only have $245,000. So she saves for 30 years versus 10. She contributes 3 times as much, and she ends up with less money. That would be very frustrating. And that is your compounding communities financial segment for today. Starting early is the key. Even if you start early and stop later, in most cases, you will outpace people who decide to wait. But then if you do both, it's when the real magic happens. If you start early and you save often, the compounding effect of that, which we talked about compounding interest a few shows ago, the compounding effect of that can get dramatic. Think about the compounding interest effect of 100,000 doubling to 2, 200,000 doubling to 4, 400 to 8, 8 to 1.6 million. That is how compounding interest works, as we covered on a previous show. So you want those big chunky doubles of your money towards the end. And so if you wait, what a lot of people don't realize is if you wait, you're robbing yourself of those big chunky doubles at the end. The real benefit, the real fun part of compounding interest, which is where that curve really starts to skyrocket up. If you wait too long, you never get to those. And so starting early, even if it's something, is going to be huge. So next thing I want to touch on really quick before we bring on our first guest is some interesting things that are happening in the country right now, kind of a current event, a current state of what's happening. Recently there was a CNBC article, and it stated that 4 million people quit their jobs in April. So we're sitting here in August, and this trend has continued, but 4 million people sparked by confidence that they can find better opportunities. There was some real strife and real pain and heartache that came from the pandemic, and so I'm not going to try to mitigate any of that. That was real, and there were a lot of people that lost loved ones, and so. But there was some good, and I believe there was some time that people got to spend with their families through working from home positions that maybe they didn't realize that they didn't realize they were missing. You don't miss something until it's gone. And so for a lot of people, I think the idea of going back into the office versus being able to be home, have that flexibility, is something that may be a bit of a tough pill to swallow. And I think that is part of this 4 million. People are saying, listen, the economy has changed. The world has changed. The work from home, flex position, Zoom /GoToMeeting/Teams world is here. And I don't think it's leaving. And so, our business personally grew 54% transitioning from face-to-face to web-based meetings. And we're in a position now where we're growing. We're looking for people. I don't have enough people in my brokerage. And by the way, we have offices nationwide, Canada, Puerto Rico, but I'm personally growing and expanding. We don't have enough people that can teach people the financial education. But we know that there are a lot of people out there that are looking for either part-time flex positions, work from home positions, and that's what we have. Like I mentioned a few shows ago, the world of financial education has changed, and we do quite a bit of these meetings utilizing a web platform. And so, reach out for more info. If you know somebody who might be interested in taking a look at a financial education type career, someone that maybe enjoys helping people, someone that just likes to do something they feel great about, maybe something in addition to what they're already doing, reach out. Of course, there are restrictions that apply. There are background checks and licensing and a few things like that, a few nuts and bolts things to get into our industry. But we're growing and we're looking for good people. So with that being said, don't be afraid to reach out if you know anybody. Now, moving on to our first guest, Miss Julie Altemus with Super Home Warranty. Julie comes to us. She is a Dallas native, a Texas native, attended college at SMU, studied broadcast journalism, worked as a TV anchor and a reporter for 2 Emmy-winning programs. So setting the bar high. Hopefully she doesn't make me look bad here because, we got a true professional here that's going to join. 4 years ago, she began working for Super as a home warranty account executive. Now she handles all of Texas. So Super Home Warranty is a company reinventing the industry, making major changes that will forever shift the way home warranty is done. And I'm excited to learn more about what that means. So Julie, you out there?
I'm here. Hello.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes and joining us here on the show. So first, hopefully I did you justice there with your intro. I know you've been, you're highly connected in the community. You've been here a long time. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, though.
Well, I want to say something to you really quick, Brandon. Are you ready? You're going to be so impressed.
Oh, I like it. I like
How
it.
money
Thank you.
works. Okay,
Thank
this is
you.
such a great book, and it's so easy to read. I mean, literally easy. Like this is what I mean by easy. Like, see that? See how easy that is? And I gave it a copy to my 18-year-old.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I wanted to say that. And while you were talking about saving money and compounding money, I'm sitting here thinking all the money that people are saving, they don't want $10,000 to go right out the window on an air conditioning unit. That happens a lot. So that's what home warranties are here for. So that's definitely what I'm going to be talking to you about today, just sharing some insight.
Awesome. Well, so in the world of home warranty, you know, as I would call it, home warranty 101.
Yes.
Who needs a home warranty? How does it work? You know, if you're like me, you know, you buy a house, you don't really know what you need. You get all these different people that telling you what you need, you don't need. What's kind of a home warranty 101?
It depends on your needs. Are you an existing homeowner? You've already lived in the house, like you mentioned in the intro. Are you a person that's purchasing a home right now? Are you a person that's building new construction? Because based on those three needs right there, first of all, you're going to have three different price points. And then the plans are basically all the same, except for new construction. That's different because it's a new house. So we're covering it in a different way. But as far as the other two ways goes, you're a buyer or an existing homeowner, it's fairly easy. You don't have to prove anything. People ask me all the time, do I have to tell you what appliances I have if I'm purchasing a home warranty for my existing house? No, you don't. Do you have to submit an inspection? No, you don't. We just take your word for it and we're just good to go. And here we are. Put coverage on the house. If you're a new buyer, that's a different story. You did just go through the inspection process. And as part of the real estate transaction, you're getting a buyer's plan for your home and it's discounted because you just went through the inspection process and you're a new buyer taking ownership now of a home that you have no idea what's behind the walls, literally.
Yeah, you know, if you're on any of the neighborhood Facebook pages around where I live in Melissa or any of these other communities, I am sure you have seen the posts where people are frustrated and just, you know, out of their mind about trying to get a builder's warranty to do what it's maybe supposed to do. In some opinions, not supposed to. I don't know, but I know that you see that happen from time to time. And so, you know, talk about that. If you've just bought a house, or even you've been there just past a year, you're into year 2, into year 3, you still have a pretty new home. You know, should they get a home warranty? What does it cover? What should they know?
So again, it depends on your scenario. If you're an existing homeowner or just going through the real estate transaction, or you've got a new house, home warranties, the reason why people get frustrated, like you might have just mentioned on Facebook or some feed where you might see people having a fit, is because truly people don't know what they don't know, and they don't take the time to find it out. How many times have we as a society signed on the dotted line for the Apple agreement or signed on the dotted line for an insurance policy and we never read what we're signing? Never. It's the same with home warranty. They do the exact same thing. And then they're surprised. Oh, my policy doesn't cover that? You mean you don't cover this, that, or the other? Then what am I paying for this home warranty for? Folks, if I can give you the biggest piece of advice, you need to read your declarations page. That's what it's there for. It's there to tell you what's covered and what's not covered. And every single plan, if there's 3 plans, if there's 5 plans, which there's generally not in home warranty, it's pretty simple. It's usually 2, 3, or 4. Read it. Know what that plan covers and what it doesn't cover. That's going to save you a lot of headaches and probably heartaches. And then the second thing is you need to know the coverage limits. Not all home warranty companies are alike. I can't stress that enough. A Honda Accord is not the same as a Lexus. It's just not. It has a steering wheel and it has 4 wheels and it's going to get you from point A to point B, but it does not have the same features and it does not cost the same money. Please, please, please hear me out. Do not ever, 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 can I say that enough? Do not ever choose a home warranty based on the cost of a plan. Stop that, because cheaper is not better. And it's the same with anything else that you purchase in life. Cheaper is not better. There's a reason why that plan costs $150 less than another plan, whether it's within the same company or a different company. And you need to know why there's a cost difference. That's really important. And oftentimes that's going to come right down to the coverage limits. So at the end of the day, how much risk are you willing to take on? So for home warranties, we're going to cover systems and appliances only. Sometimes there's a few perks like a little bit of roof stuff over here, or maybe there's a home theater over there. But all in all, the basics are across the board, systems in the home and appliances, built-in appliances in the home. What do I mean by systems? The top three are your AC, your heat, your water heater. But then there's more. The interior plumbing, the interior electrical, your garage door mechanisms, and so forth. We also are going to cover mechanical breakdowns that happen, and this is key, what I'm about to say, that happen due to normal wear and tear. So the snowpocalypse that we had in February, that's not normal. All the frozen pipes, all the pool issues, the water heaters that burst and made a mess in everybody's houses, that was not normal wear and tear. That fell under active nature. And because it was an active nature, that was all insurance claims. So people often are confused, even agents that have been in this business a long time don't understand that home warranty companies don't cover acts of nature. And so, what are some other ideas of active nature? Well, some of them are obvious, like tornadoes or fire or flood. But what about power surges? What about lightning strikes? Those things can also blow out systems or appliances, and those would not be covered under home warranty. Again, that's going to go back to active nature. Now, whether you choose to make a claim on that or not with your insurance company is up to you, depending on how much that deductible is. But it's just important to know that home warranty is similar to insurance in that you're purchasing risk. How much risk do you want to take on? Because the more payments if you're going to do monthly payments, the higher your monthly payments are, or the more money your annual policy is, the less money you're going to have out of pocket when you have a major breakdown on your AC unit. Mm-hmm. So AC units and water heaters, probably the two most, and I would say appliances too, but I would say AC and water heater are very expensive. So every company that you look at are going to have different coverages there, and it's important that you find one that has very high coverages and unlimited even on the AC units.
Awesome. And, this is one of those things where I feel like it's easy for people to get lost in the weeds because there's so many differences. And that's where to me, having someone that and that you trust and is not someone that has been, you see these people, they come through town, they fly in, they knock on your door, they fly in from another state. You can tell by their accent they're not from around here. And a company's contracted them to target your neighborhood. And boom, they're trying to sell as many warranties as they can. And these people are gone. They're their cell phone is turned off. You have a 1-800 number and a company that you don't have any relationship. To me, that's one of getting back to the reason why I created the show, Compounding Communities. Having Julie's phone number and having a contact, someone who's highly connected in the community, to be able to call her and say, hey, this is what's going on. Is this going to be covered? Is this something that I need to be looking at with my existing homeowner's insurance? Where's that line? Certainly when crazy snowstorms happen, and I know just in my neighborhood, there are a tremendous amount of people building pools, knowing what's going to be covered, what's not going to be covered. So you can plan for that, as well as that personal connection, knowing that someone's going to answer the phone when you call. To me, that makes the difference. And that's worth, you start looking at that cost to value proposition, similar to health insurance. I think in general, people know if you have super cheap health insurance, you're going to have a higher deductible and you're going to probably pay more out of pocket, versus maybe you pay a little more each month for your health insurance. It's going to cover more. You're probably going to have a little less out of pocket. There's that give and take. It's certainly going to be the same with home warranties, I would suspect. Is that true, Julie?
That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And when we're being shopped, let's just say compared to, ABC company, and they say, well, tell us what's unique. I hear this a lot. Tell us what's unique about Super, because this company over here is $100 less than your company. And I said, did you look at their terms of coverage? Do you know what your coverage limits are for the year? How much out of pocket are you going to pay if your AC unit goes down? And then, it forces them to take a look into what they're actually paying for, because people, I would say 90% of people pick policies based on the price. They don't pick policies based on the coverage.
Yep.
Which
Absolutely.
then leads to disappointment, later. So speaking of that, choosing policies, obviously we're in a very competitive market. For all of the homeowners out there, or let me say this, potential buyers that are out there right now who want a home warranty. 6 months ago, we could get sellers to pay for that. Right now, we're in a different market, and buyers are often having to pay for this themselves. And so affordability is sometimes an issue when they're paying over asking price and whatnot. So we've never had to offer monthly billing for buyers before, because again, we are in a different market, but we've made that shift. So if buyers have to purchase it for themselves, they now have the option at a discounted rate. Because traditionally, if you're an existing homeowner, let's say, and you add a policy on your home, it is slightly higher, not by a lot, maybe $100, depending on what kind of plan you choose, because you're higher risk. You didn't just go through the inspection process where every single thing was pretty much repaired and everything is in good working order. And that leads me to the next thing. Things do have to be in proper working order when you put a policy on your house. It's no different than if you were to total your car last week and take it to Geico or State Farm or somebody this week and say, hey, will you pay for my wrecked car? They'd say, no. It's kind of the same thing with a home warranty. When you put that policy in place, all your systems and all your appliances have to be in good working order that you're aware of and you know about. There is such things as pre-existing conditions that are unknown. In other words, everything worked fine at inspection, you move in and then you have a breakdown. That's a totally different story. But to know that something is broken where the inspector calls it out ahead of time and then you want the home warranty company to cover it, that just isn't going to happen. So there is the monthly billing option to make it more affordable. But again, just check out those terms. Make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting.
Absolutely. Yep. Knowledge is what do they say? Knowledge is power, but not unless it's applied, right? So you gotta dive into the details or reach out to Julie. Julie will walk through the differences if you have an existing home warranty, if you're thinking about getting a home warranty, if you're in, one of the neighborhoods, maybe in Allen or Plano or McKinney, where you're in a house that was built, 10, 15 years ago, and that the age of some of these big major ticket items is starting to get up there. A home warranty can really save you and keep you from having a significant financial issue. And why is that near and dear to me? Well, me personally, I'm all about helping my clients get to destination financial freedom, get to destination financial independence, be able to retire wealthy. And you start looking at just our story of Jack and Jill. Jack invested $24,000. Well, we didn't incorporate Jack's AC going out and him having to pull $9,000 out of his $24,000 investment. Now Jack is not even on track. Neither is Jill. The whole thing's a disaster. So home warranties can affect a lot of other areas of your life, and you maybe didn't think about that in terms of the overall value. So Julie, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you hopping on the show. And, definitely want to have you back in the future to give us more tips and tricks for all things home warranties. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, listen, if you have health insurance right now and you don't love it, or you're a little frustrated with it, or you feel like things should be covered that aren't, or maybe you're just paying a lot for health insurance, the health insurance thing can be a significant portion of your monthly bills. If you don't love your health insurance, you might ought to take my friends over at Revolt Healthcare for a test drive. Ben and Stephanie over at Revolt Healthcare, they're professionals, and they have a healthcare product that is consistently saving my clients money. And what can you do with the money that you saved? Well, you can take that money and you can do some good things with it. Maybe you can put it back into your monthly budget, be able to pay some other bills. But, maybe you can be like Jack and Jill over here, and you can decide to get some of that money growing and compounding. So we know healthcare can be a significant cost each month, each quarter, each year. And there are times where if you work for a company, especially some of these small to medium-sized businesses, you're sharing the lion's share of the cost of the insurance. So if you have the ability to reduce that cost, free up some money, and also improve your coverage, maybe get yourself in a better position where you're protected and your family's protected, that's certainly something worth 2 or 3 minutes of your time. So I've got a link that you can click on where you can scroll to the bottom. You can click get a quote. It goes right over to my friend Ben over at Revolt Healthcare. So that link will be running at the bottom of the show. Make sure that we have that keyed up there. So, all right. So our next guest, excited to talk about small to medium businesses, things that are happening in the community over in Allen, Texas. So we've got Miss Sharon Mayer. She is with the Allen Chamber of Commerce. Sharon has she's been in the chamber business literally her entire life, going back to 1989 in the Arlington Chamber. She was the director of member services. You're talking about over in 95, president of the DeSoto Chamber, and then moving over to Allen in 1997, back before they had giant football stadiums and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe they did, but they didn't have big ones like they have now. And then August of this year, she's going to celebrate her 24th anniversary with the Allen Fairview Chamber of Commerce, married to husband Paul. He's got a 32-year career as the CEO of the Garland Chamber of Commerce. So between them, they have 6 children and 8 fantastic grandchildren. So what's pretty cool about this is she also serves as the board of directors for the Western Association of Chamber Executives and the Texas Association of Chamber Executives. She currently is the chair-elect for the North Texas Chamber Executives. Ooh, that's a lot of accolades. Listen, here's what you need to know. If you tuned out, if you had like a momentary, with all those accolades, here's what you need to know. Sharon is an expert in small to medium business development. She has seen a tremendous amount of companies start and then either grow and turn into tremendously successful companies. And she's seen the other side of that. And so Sharon, are you there? I want to bring you on.
I'm here.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes and joining us.
You really built me up. I hope I can live it.
Right. We set
expectations. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Tell us, I want to get into some tips and tricks for companies, new companies, maybe companies that are trying to move to that next level. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about the Allen Chamber of Commerce and your philosophy there and its mission.
Well, first of all, it's the Allen Fairview Chamber of Commerce. So don't make Fairview businesses.
Sorry. I want to leave our Fairview peeps out.
We brought the Fairview Chamber into this organization, or the Fairview businesses into our organization about, I'm going to say 10, 12, maybe 15 years ago now, simply because we were starting to see some growth. They were no longer just a bedroom community. They were reaching out. And they were trying to make a decision. Do we affiliate with the Allen Chamber of Commerce or the McKinney Chamber of Commerce? So we happened to have a really good friend who was the chairman of our chamber at that time who lived in Fairview. So he was instrumental in bringing that city to ours. And we officially changed our name to the Allen Fairview Chamber of Commerce. Now, did Allen think that was a great idea? Not always. It had been their chamber since the early 60s. So, but they
growth is not always comfortable, right?
Yeah, change is hard for everyone. But we've been living under this name now for, like I said, 12, 15 years, and everyone's adjusted very, very well.
Awesome. And so if I'm somebody who's new to the community, maybe I just moved in, I've got a small business, maybe even a medium size, maybe even a large company, I've moved to the area. tell me, I feel like for a lot of us, you've heard of the Chamber of Commerce, maybe growing up, you noticed that Chamber of Commerce sponsored your little league team or something like that. But what do you guys do? Why would someone new want to come over and sit down and have a visit with you like we did the other day?
I don't know. You want to grow your business? Because
there you go.
Start. So, and you're right, especially younger people, and that's our demographic in this area, and our businesses are more and more. You're seeing younger entrepreneurs, and not people my age by any means. They really don't know what a Chamber of Commerce is. There's this whole misconception that we're part of the city, that we're funded by the city, that our job is to do ribbon cuttings and parades and sponsorships, like you said, and none of that is true. None of it. First of all, we are a member organization. We are funded by membership investments and fundraisers, just like every other nonprofit has to be these days. But our purpose is basically stated in our mission statement, which is to advocate, educate, and build relationships that enable our businesses and our communities to prosper. And we do that just in all sorts of ways. I mean, the first thing you think about when you think of building relationships are networking events. And man, we have networking events. We do. Even during the pandemic, when we were not able to meet in person, we continued to do our weekly morning networking virtually. Had people that still had that opportunity to connect.
Awesome.
And new businesses. I mean, there were people who were starting businesses during that. I mean, they were very, very brave. And the education part comes in many different ways, whether it's a business seminar or whether it is providing information on how to do specific tasks, how to get specific recommendations for your business, how to get certified as a minority-owned, woman-owned, historically underutilized business is something that our diversity committee is working on right now, so that we can provide. Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. That way we can provide the resources without sitting down and trying to teach them something we don't really know ourselves. But we do have the connections to help them go through that process. But one of the best things, if you are a business, especially a small business, and you're a new business, you need to come sit down with our SCORE counselor. And I don't know if you know anything about SCORE, but it's the Service Corps of Retired Executives. So the people and it's a division of the Small Business Administration. So people who volunteer to mentor other business people they've worked in huge corporations, they've run businesses of their own, they just happen to be retired and looking to continue to give back and to teach. We have a SCORE counselor in our office every Thursday morning. And this is free. This is free.
Wow.
Free training for anyone, and they will sit down, they will look at your business plan, they will look at your finances, and let me just tell you, they're not going to pull any punches. They're going to tell you, like, not now. Great idea. Everyone wants your grandma's recipe for oatmeal cookies, but you don't have the money that it's going to take to sustain not only your business but yourself. And let me give you a really sad example. Several years ago, we had a business that it was a party supply type house. We come to find out that the owner is really in trouble because she has financed every single thing within her business and her home as well. She was living off credit cards. So now she's looking for a loan, a small business loan from a bank in order to pay those off because she's starting to finally see a profit on her business. There wasn't a bank that would touch her anywhere because number one, her income was low and her debt ratio was just horrible. I mean, it was amazing. And she finally, I really don't know what happened because she just disappeared, but I would assume that it was a bankruptcy, situation. So,
It's so sad. And I think we see that in the community from time to time. You see a new business come in, you drive by a few months later and it's gone. And you think, wow, what happened? And, one of the things that we say on this show that I'll coin from my producer, Mr. Linden here, he always says most small to medium businesses, they don't fail because of the lack of a quality of the good or product or service they have. They fail because not enough people know what they're doing. I'll add to that to say two things. One, show me your mentors and I'll show you your future, and iron sharpens iron. When you look at this, one thing that jumped into my head when you mentioned, being able to get your business designated as minority owned or female owned or any of those categories, you can Google stuff, but that is an absolute maze and a mess. And how do you find information that's pertinent to you? Being able to go to someone who's done it, being able to go to someone and say, hey, I would love your advice. How do I get this done? And going right to the source, knowing right how to do something, that is worth its weight in gold. And then you add on, I didn't even know about the mentoring aspect. You add the aspect of having someone that does not have they don't have an interest in your business. They're not going to push you to take on debt that's unnecessary. They're not going to, they're a neutral party just offering their services. That is phenomenal. And I wasn't even aware that that's available, but from a resource standpoint, being able to have someone get another set of eyes helping you with your business where they've been there, done it. One thing that I've learned about entrepreneurship is there are a tremendous amount of pitfalls, but there are levels to this, right? And you get through multiple stages of business. And unless you have someone who has been there and gone through what you're going through right now and come out on the other side successful, it's very difficult to move up and level up in your business. And I'm talking about revenue, gross, net profit numbers, but also in your own personal professional development as a business owner, as a steward of your business. That growth is going to be so huge. So talk about an incredible resource. Wow, I'm blown away. If someone's starting a business, Sharon, in addition to getting involved, getting mentorship, what's another secret to success that you see good businesses or people who have had success? What are they doing?
Well, we talked about resources and resources that the chamber provides, but every single one of these new businesses needs to have other people they can trust out there. They need an accountant. They need probably a financial advisor, because accountants can take care of your money, or tell you how much you need to pay, or help you not pay so many taxes, but they're not going to manage your finances as well. Talk to professionals when it comes to hiring staff, because HR issues can be just horrendous if you're not doing it right. Other than that, okay, talk to the people who are already chamber members, because they have been in business, they are established, they have been where you have been, and they will share anything and everything with you. I have found that our members are so open that our chamber is more like a family, except we don't argue as much most of the time. They are. They're friends. They're our friends, staff friends, but they're friends with one another. And, it's like we mentioned in a conversation we had, I think, that people do business with other people that they know, like, and trust. And trust comes from knowing someone and watching them and seeing how they handle their business, seeing how they're successful. And most of all, how they treat other people. Because I'm going to tell you, the bottom line is, I don't care what business you're in the people business. And if you don't treat them with respect and as peers, then they're not going to consider you that way either. So
certainly, absolutely, so true, so true. And when it comes to a mindset, aligning yourself with someone that has that abundance mindset, to me, is everything. And if you're not sure if the people who you are taking advice from, and I think this goes for everyone, even if you're listening and you're thinking, well, I'm a normal employee. I've got a normal 9-to-5 job, or you're thinking about starting a company, or you are a small to medium business owner, or some type of hybrid business, whatever you have. Aligning yourself with people who have an abundance mindset is going to be so huge. And how do you know, real quick, how do you know if you've aligned yourself with someone who has an abundance mindset? Well, if they're willing to share secrets with you, if they're willing to give you advice, if they're willing to take time and help you, if they're going to encourage you, if they are going to be someone in your life that brings positivity versus someone in your life that's constantly telling you, you can't do this, you probably shouldn't do that. There's certainly that healthy level of healthy criticism to say, hey, let's take an introspective look at your overall situation, whether you're you're just thinking about investing in a vacation, going somewhere fun, or expanding your business. There's certainly that healthy level of someone saying, hey, let's make sure we're really taking a good look at this. But then there's that other extreme. We all know we have people, whether it be friends, family, maybe even people in your life, coworkers, that are that constant negative source of, you can't do that. I tried it. I tried it already. Don't, and so you want to limit your interaction with those people, certainly, and find those people in the community that have that abundance mindset, that are going to help you bring out the best in you, and not necessarily be those crabs in your life that are constantly just, trying to pull you down because they have had some negativity and some strife happen, and they want everyone else in their life to kind of experience that same thing. Hopefully that resonates with you. I think everyone I've ever talked to, you've got those people in your life that are those so-called kind of crabs. They're just crabby. Everything is negative. Woe is me. And you've certainly got the people who have the abundance mindset. One of the things, bringing it all full circle here, one of the things I love about organizations like the Chamber is it is a gathering of like-minded people. And that's where you can really lean on each other and be able to pick people's brains, get advice from people, maybe people that have been there, done that, and they can help you. And listen, if you can shortcut and you can learn from other people's mistakes, and you can collapse timeframes and move up 3 or 4 levels, whereas what would have potentially taken you a year or two to learn the hard lessons on your own, if you can shortcut that in a month or two, that's how winning happens. And that's how these businesses will grow and succeed and make quantum leaps year over year. It's really about, again, show me your mentors, I show you your future. So last question, Sharon, what's the coolest business that you guys have in the Allen Fairview area that no one knows about? What's something pretty cool out there that our listeners should go check out?
The Dinosaur Company.
The Dinosaur Company. Tell us about that.
We have a company that builds dinosaurs, the huge life-size animatronic dinosaurs.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
It is very cool. It's very cool. And they actually do tours. And they do birthday parties. And, you get a chance to be up close and personal with these really big, moving, making noise type, I asked them one time, I said, your dinosaurs on Jurassic Park by any chance? And they were going, no, but they are at other places. The Herd Museum has something that started, I think it was last spring. I took my grandchildren, and everywhere you would turn, there was a dinosaur that was going to pop out at you, or you hear it. And you go, oh my gosh, that's one of those things that would just eat you. You just so you kind of creep around the corner, and there it is. And they are amazing.
That's so cool. What a great idea for something to take the kids to do a tour at the Dinosaur Company. That's really awesome. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to having you back, and look forward to talking about what you guys are doing in the community and upcoming events and stuff like that. So we'll certainly have you back on in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you. I enjoyed
it. Absolutely. So listen, 2 quick things here. If you are a fan of learning and you are a fan of winning and a fan of being educated, there's certainly our How Many Works book, How Many Works, Stop Being a Sucker. If you'd like a free copy of this book, if you put hashtag the difference or hashtag compounding communities, I'll reach out to you. I'll get your address. I think this book's $16-17 on Amazon. We got over 500,000 of them in print, in circulation right now. This is an incredible resource for you, but also if you've got 18, 19-year-olds, you've got young kids, if you have people who are in your family that you think could benefit from this, let me know. And hashtag the difference, hashtag compounding communities. I would be happy to send you 1, 2, 3 copies of this book as a free gift, as a listener to our show. These books we have testimonial after testimonial of people saying that this book, the education in this book, literally changed their life. It's written at a 6th grade level. You can read it cover to cover in about an hour. And so that's huge. Next thing is a quick reminder for the giveaway. The giveaway is happening. We're going to have a couple more weeks of running this. So someone's going to win a free trip, airfare and a hotel, round trip airfare, 2 nights hotel, a fun little getaway. And the way you qualify for that, again, is scheduling a 20-minute or so educational conversation with me where I teach you some of the concepts. I'll give you a free book, teach you some of the concepts that I guarantee you will add value to your life. Again, you have my commitment. There's no one's going to bust out an 18-piece vacuum and start dumping Cheerios on your shoes and vacuuming them off. It's not that kind of thing. We're growing as a company and would certainly love to meet some of our listeners and get an opportunity to further our mission of teaching financial literacy and teaching financial education. So with that being said, our last guest of the day, hopefully you held on. Appreciate you listening this far through. We've got a gem here. I had a conversation with this young gentleman the other day, and we were on the phone for a while. Mr. Luke Leissner. I apologize. I want to make sure I pronounce his last name correctly. Mr. Luke Leissner. He is an NRA and DPS certified instructor, a gun dealer. If you've got something that you're looking for, there's a good chance he might be able to find it or put it on order for you. He can do FFL transfers. So if you've ordered something and you need to get it transferred into your name, he can help you with that. He is a multi-generational Aggie. We'll talk about that. And then the owner of Cannon Feeders. So exciting stuff about the outdoors coming to you. Mr. Luke, are you out there?
I'm here. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Man, thank you so much for joining us. I've been super excited to have you on the show since Cody Thompson told me about you, showed me your website, the Cannon Feeders, and then gave me your contact information. We had a great conversation the other day on the phone. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the area? How'd you get in the gun business? Stuff like that.
Well, I grew up in the Houston area and moved to Dallas in the early 90s. And I've been hunting and fishing my entire life. My daddy grew up on a farm down by Victoria. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. 3 of us are boys. And so we grew up hunting and fishing. I shot my first deer when I was about 10 years old. And we still do it today. We do it as a family. It's a family event for us. And so it's all about enjoying the outdoors and spending time with our family and just trying to, continue to grow Dad's legacy of trying to be a family of faith, people that are, we're Christians and that's part of our belief system, but we believe in the outdoors and having fun outdoors. So.
Absolutely. And then you've been in the gun business for a while now. Is that right?
I have a home-based federal firearms business, so I can order firearms. It's kind of hard to find firearms, but they're getting better. I've got handguns available now and I have some here. And so, but I do a lot of transfers. I only charge $20 for a FFL transfer up here in Frisco. So I'm a lot cheaper than the local gun stores. So people
absolutely. Absolutely. And we were having a conversation about ammo prices. If you know anything about ammo prices, they have been just sky high, insanely high for a while now. Yeah. So Luke shared with me some info that he's noticing on the side of that, from the industry side coming down. What were we talking about the other day in terms of ammo prices?
Well, I've stopped buying ammunition right now. I'm noticing the price seems to be coming down pretty dramatically. some 223 ammo that just 3 or 4 weeks ago was $1 a round is down around 60 cents. You can get it now. And I've seen 9mm ammo down in the 30 cent a round. So I'm kind of holding off. I'm thinking that supply is catching up and the prices are starting to come down. I think that's probably the same thing on the gun side, because I'm seeing inventory starting to come back up on firearms and ammunition.
Absolutely. So that's all great news, because there for a while it was a real chore to even try to find ammunition,
Yep.
much less when you found it, what they were charging for it. And so
Right.
that's great news that the cost is coming down. You know, the ability where I see that is important is in the realm of responsible gun ownership. I think that's been a hot topic in Texas, especially with some of the legislative changes allowing you to carry and more open carry and stuff like that. I think you have more people that are gun owners now, and probably the largest segment, of course, being the new gun owner segment.
Correct.
So the ability to purchase ammunition and go to the range, or go out to a place that has obviously an appropriate, safe place to be able to do some practice, but practicing with your firearms, being able to make sure, and especially your loved ones that, if you've got a wife that carries, or you've got children, obviously not children, but if you're in your 40s and 50s and you've got kids that are in their 20s and 30s, making sure that you're spending great family time, but also time out at the range, practicing safety, practicing fundamentals, being able to stay in tip-top shape with firearms, so that a mistake isn't made.
Well, I think you've got two factors. Number one, you've got a different political party in the White House, and not to be political, but that does make a difference in people's attitudes about firearms. It makes a difference in how people feel about what our government may try to do as far as taking firearms. There are some measures going on that are concerning if you're in this industry and if you believe in the Second Amendment. And then there are a lot of new people that are getting guns. 80% of my students today are women. Most of them are moms that are waking up and going, what's going to happen if a nut bag shows up at the mall? How am I going to protect my family? Mm-hmm. And they want something to be able to protect their kids other than their purse.
Right. I've often lived by the thought of, if I were ever, heaven forbid, but if I were ever in a situation like that, how upsetting would it be after the fact if something tragic or horrible happened, if I had the lawful ability to protect my family, but chose not to have or utilize a force multiplier. And that's what it is. It's a tool. It's a force multiplier, right? It's the ability, if someone has something that they're intending to do you or your family harm, the ability for you to level the playing field or potentially swing the power in your direction for you to either ward that person off, or worst case scenario, have to protect yourself, protect your family. Yeah. And so, obviously, we're not going to get into too much of the debate side, but that's just a philosophy that I've kind of held true to, that at the end of the day, it's about me and my family and keeping us safe and protecting us. We know evil exists. It's a sad reality, but if you're a Christian, you know that evil does exist. You believe that it's there. It's a real thing. And you certainly want to do everything you can to protect your family.
Well, I look at it this way. I mean, as a praying man, I pray every day that I never have to take another human life. But by the same token, don't threaten my family. Don't put my family's life in danger, because if you make me make a choice, I will make it. And I shoot a lot. I mean, I'll make it. I'll make a choice, and I'll make it quickly. I'll protect my family.
Absolutely. So in terms of classes, you mentioned you've got most of your students being women. Do you have any upcoming classes?
Yeah, I've got folks can go to my website. They can go to www.whatismygunwork.com and send, put their information in there. I'll contact them. Most of my students now want to take the 4-hour classroom portion of the License to Carry course online. So I have a way for them to do that. and then they come spend 2 hours with me on the gun range on a Saturday morning. My next day for that is August the 14th. And so if they want to contact me, I'll give them all the details. They don't need a firearm. I will provide the gun. And if they're unable to find 22 shells, I'll even provide those. They can purchase them from me at a very $5 a box for 22 shells.
Awesome. Awesome. So there's a way to get involved. Listen, if it's something you're on the fence about, here's what I will say. Every time I have ever taken someone with me out to our ranch or out to the gun range that hasn't experienced this, you want to go with someone who has a safety mindset. You want to go with someone who has some experience, right? But and what I will tell you about that is it is for a lot of people, you will be extremely nervous. You'll have butterflies in your stomach. You'll be worried about the unknown. And what I will also commit to you, if you start looking at getting into shooting sports, any of this kind of stuff, even just self-protection, once you fire a firearm, and of course you're going to have ear protection and eye protection, all the things, and you get over that first one, and then you shoot again. After a few minutes, my commitment to you is that it will all fade. And the smiles on people's faces, which was before nervous sweat 5 minutes before, where people were so nervous and so tense, being able to see them relax and say, wow, this isn't as scary as I thought. It doesn't hurt. The noise isn't that loud. You've got ear protection. The feeling of the gun shooting it doesn't hurt. It's actually, hey, this actually, you see a lot of people that walk away from that experience and say, this was actually enjoyable. I actually, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel, but I want to do it again.
Yep.
And that is so huge, spreading that. And so, certainly with children, teaching children responsibility, teaching children the safety side is so huge now with so many new gun owners. So go utilizing someone like Luke, going to one of these classes, learning gun safety from an expert, that's going to be huge in terms of protecting your family, but also protecting your family. And so, so very excited. So next thing, kind of moving forward here, you're a longtime Aggie. How many Aggies did you tell me you have in your family?
I think the last count was 49. My father was class of 1950. And then I've got uncles and cousins that went all the way through the late 50s and 60s and 70s. And then my brothers and I are class of 82, 83, and 84. And so, we've got a long history at A&M, and it's a big part of our family. That's
awesome. Well, as I shared with you, I was class of 2006. And, the one thing that I love about the Aggie Network, the Aggie Connection, is that Aggies, we stick together. We prioritize doing business with other Aggies. So you've got a great Aggie here in Luke. And if you need anything, certainly reach out to him. The last thing I want to talk about for a minute here, something that's a new innovative invention in the world of feeders. Now, this is super exciting. This is a product called a Cannon feeder. Now, Cannon's going to kind of give you a little bit of hint of what this thing does. So, Luke, tell us what is a Cannon feeder and how did you guys invent this thing?
Well, I've been involved with my cousin down in Bay City that really is the guy that invented it, and I've been doing most of their sales stuff for a lot of years. But we got tired of fixing feeders. They're always messing with those spinners. They're always breaking. The coons are always getting into the feeder, and you fill your feeder up. You come back 3 weeks later, and it's empty because the coons got in it and spun the little spinner plate. So we built the only feeder in the industry that two things. Number one, it's pneumatic. It runs on air pressure. There is no spinner on our feeder. And the other thing is we are the only feeder in the industry that gets the corn away from the feeder. Our design is to get the corn away from the feeder. We don't bring the coons and the hogs to the feeder. We send them 40, 45 yards. Yes, I said yards away from the feeder. So it's pretty simple. Brandon, it's a big potato gun.
That's pretty cool. And, we had a good conversation and talking about the frustration that you can have with varmints and other animals getting into your corn. Prices of corn right now are at all-time highs. So the ability to have something that works, that keeps you from having to show up after you've dumped a couple of 100 pounds of corn into a feeder and having it all dumped out on the ground or empty, and you don't even know what happened. It's just all gone. You're talking about saving yourself a lot of time, a lot of frustration. Now, speaking of time, you mentioned you guys are going to your feeder twice a year. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how are you guys getting that done? Because that's amazing.
Here's the way it works. Our feeder holds 700 pounds of corn. And every time it goes off and shoots, it shoots 2 pounds of corn. And so if you take 2 pounds of corn twice a day, that's 4 pounds a day. It'll go 175 days before you have to go fill it up again. And so we go to our feeders the last week of September because we hunt MLD. We can start hunting deer the 1st of October. So we fill the feeder up, feed in the morning and in the afternoons from the end of September, and that'll go all the way till the first week of March. In March, we fill the feeder back up, turn it on 1 time a day, and that'll go all the way to September. So we and again, you brought up a huge point we're getting a ton of calls about today, and that is the cost of corn. Corn up here in North Texas I'm seeing it at $11.99, $12.99 a bag. And people are going, I just had the coons dump 200 pounds of corn on the ground. That's close to $50 worth of corn. We don't have that problem. We don't have any wasted corn. Animals cannot get into our feeder. And the other thing that people like about our feeder, because there is no structure where the corn is, you will have more mature deer coming to where the cannon feeder food is than you will go into a spinner feeder.
Now that's because it's putting the corn farther away, so they're not having to come into, an area where there's a spinner.
They mature bucks, and Dr. James Kroll in East Texas, Dr. Deer is the one that told us about this, that he said, these deer, I can video them walking up towards my spinner feeders, and they'll walk around them in the brush. They won't come into where the spinner feeder is. They'll walk 200 yards through the brush and walk right out in the middle of an opening to where the cannon feeder food, where the corn from the cannon feeder is, because there is no structure. The feeder's 40, 45 yards over in the brush. They don't even know where it is.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and this works for it. If you've got a pond and you're trying to, feed catfish, I saw that it works for that. Even if you're, maybe you're not a hunter and you're just a listener of the show and you just are a lover of wildlife, this is something that you can set up. You guys have smaller sizes, right? Where someone can set up, throw corn out in the back pasture and you can feed wildlife. Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, that's exciting. An innovative new product that is coming. It's been on the market now for a little while. You see a lot of people are talking about, cannon feeders. And so one of the things I love is certainly new technology, the ability to leverage, Luke and I were talking about the fact that they're using solar panels and having batteries last for years because you get less wear and tear and some of the technology they have in their solar panels. So lots of really cool stuff there that you can take a look at. So, check them out. They're going to be at a couple of the hunting shows. I think Luke froze up on us on a connection, but I know he was talking about they're going to be at several different hunting and fishing shows in the future. So if he comes back on, we'll see if we can get the list of where they're going to be at. But listen, in closing, I'm excited to I'm excited to have you guys as guests. If you've listened this far through, I really appreciate you listening. Our mission of compounding communities and this radio show, we're creating a buzz. It's been very exciting. We're having a lot of people that are listening, a lot of people that are getting connected with people in the community, and that's super, super exciting for me. I just want to thank our sponsors, Revolt Healthcare and WealthWave, the How Money Works company. we have got a few spots. If you are a small to medium business owner, maybe you are a professional, you're providing a service, and you want to get the word out, this platform, The Difference, I want to say that we had over 600,000 listeners last year, and it's on pace to grow, to far outgrow that, thanks to you guys as listeners. We got a lot of people listening to the shows on this platform, and so that's super exciting. And if you want to highlight who you as a professional, your business, your company, let us know. We'd be happy to do that. In addition to that, if you are a member of the community, if you know of an upcoming sports team going to an area or a state, or a UIL team, or a group of kids doing something amazing, or you've got a nonprofit or an organization doing something amazing, and you'd like me to feature you on the show, let me know. Be happy to do that. We can talk through some different options there. And so with that being said, thank you again so much for listening. This has been the Brandon Lakey Show, Compounding Communities. Have a great day.